The fourth in-person Quad meeting between the top leaders of India, Japan, Australia and host United States ended on a high.
क्वाड समूह इंडो पैसिफिक में शांति, स्थिरता और समृद्धि सुनिश्चित करने के लिए एक महत्वपूर्ण प्लेटफॉर्म के रूप में स्थापित हुई है.
A slew of new initiatives launched, a myriad security issues addressed. During his 3-day trip to the United States, Prime Minister Narendra Modi was received warmly by the outgoing President Joe Biden. And like with every other head of the state, Modi's bonhomie with the octogenarian leader was on full display.
By the way, he's from a small country like ours, with low population, but he's become a good and decent man, a good friend.
Thank you.
But just 2 days before Modi landed in Philadelphia, a closed-door meeting was held by White House officials in Washington. The meeting was attended by Khalistan sympathizers who raised the issue of transnational threats that they allegedly face in the United States. This delegation was reportedly briefed about the US government's ongoing conversation with its Indian counterpart. This was the first such meeting and came in the backdrop of Gurpatwant Singh Pannu's shocking allegations against India. This closed-door meeting and its timing have raised several eyebrows and questions. While prominent Khalistani Gurpatwant Singh Pannun, who is wanted in India, continues to call North America home, many have questioned the White House's meeting. Why did the White House host K sympathizers despite India's security concerns? After the drama in Canada, how will the United States address Khalistani elements within? What made the Khalistani threat become a hot button issue for India over the past few years? Let's decode. On September 21, America's National Security Council hosted a few sympathizers of the Khalistan movement. This was not just the first time an official engagement took place between Khalistanis and Biden government. It also happened just 2 days before PM Modi's key visit to the country. The meeting was attended by American Sikh Caucus Committee's Preetpal Singh and representatives from the Sikh Coalition and Sikh American Legal Defense and Education Fund. The officials of the White House assured the Pro-Khalistanis of their commitment to protect them from any act of transnational repression. While New Delhi did not react to the development, what message does the White House wants to send out by this tryst is yet to be comprehended. In politics, timing is important, but in geopolitics, its significance grows manifold. This meeting came just days after Gurpatwant Singh Pannun, another prominent member of the secessionist movement, filed a legal suit against the Indian government. Pannun, who heads the radical terror group Sikh for Justice, sought financial compensation over an alleged murder attempt. In his plea, along with the Indian government, Pannun has named NSA Ajit Doval, ex-RAW chief Samant Goyal and Nikhil Gupta, an Indian currently in a US jail on murder charges. The Indian government dismissed the summons issued by the US court. Calling the imputations unwarranted and unsubstantiated, New Delhi also reminded Washington that the group headed by Pannun is a designated unlawful organization by the Indian government.
These are completely unwarranted and unsubstantiated imputations. Now that these this particular case has been lodged, it doesn't change our views about the underlying situation. I would only invite your attention to the person behind this particular case, whose antecedents are well known. I would also underline the fact that the organization, so-called, that this person represents is an unlawful organization, has been declared as such under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act of 1967. And it has been done so on account of its involvement in anti-national and subversive activities aimed at disrupting the sovereignty and territorial integrity of India.
Remember, this is the same designated terrorist who endorsed Congress MP Rahul Gandhi's take on Sikhs and used his comments to justify his separatist movement. The Indian leader of opposition's remarks in the United States in early September had triggered widespread political outrage back home. Several Sikh outfits, along with BJP leaders, launched a scathing attack at Rahul Gandhi. While some called him India's #1 terrorist, others crossed a line with their threats.
गा लीजिए, राहुल गांधी खुद देश के #1 टेररिस्ट अगर किसी को मेरी ख्याल से किस पे अनाम होना चाहिए पकड़ने के लिए, जब देश का सबसे बड़ा दुश्मन जो जिसको लानना चाहिए एजेंसीज को, वो आज राहुल गांधी है।
राहुल गांधी आज आजा, ऐसे आने वाले टाइम में तेरा भी वो हाल होएगा राहुल गांधी जो तेरे दादी का हाल है।
The Gandhi Scion had to issue a clarification where he accused the Saffron Party of spreading lies against him. On the issue of Khalistan, the India-US relationship has witnessed several bumps along the road, especially in the past few years. It all kind of intensified after the mysterious murder of another Khalistani terrorist, Hardip Singh Niger. In September 2023, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced they were investigating credible allegations that Indian government agents were linked to Niger's murder. The known Khalistani sympathizer with gang links was gunned down outside a Sikh cultural center in British Columbia.
There are credible reasons to believe that agents of the government of India were involved in the killing of a Canadian on Canadian soil. That is something of the utmost and foundational importance in a country of rule of law, in a world where international rules-based order matters.
Since then, bilateral ties between India and Canada went into a tailspin. Dismissing allegations hurled by Trudeau, India demanded proof of the charges. Months later, US officials charged Nikhil Gupta of working with an Indian employee to plot against Gurpatwant Singh Pannun. This time, India formed a high-powered committee to investigate the allegations leveled by Washington. And the probe is on. Friends with benefits is how geopolitical experts usually define India-US relations that have seen a steep rise in the past few decades. By now, it must have been clear that Khalistan is an extremely sensitive issue for India. And hence, as a so-called like-minded partner, New Delhi expects Washington to be mindful of its sovereign interests. And hence, as a so-called like-minded partner, New Delhi expects Washington to be mindful of its sovereign interests. It is ironic that the Biden administration, which went extraordinary lengths to unroll the red carpet for the Indian Prime Minister twice in 2 years, also hosted a meeting with anti-India elements days before Modi's visit. Panu continues to find safe haven in the United States. And not much has been done against those who attacked Indian embassies, consulates and high commissions abroad. Notably, the relation between India and the United States has strengthened in the past few decades. China and its rising hegemony remain at the heart of this partnership. But there are far more avenues of cooperation. India continues to walk its multi-aligned path, working with Russia and US alike.